best date you could create with $1,000?
Whoa.
$1,000. One thing I want to say, the mindset of somebody that's going, okay, I got $1,000 for this date. Maybe it's a special date, I don't know, or maybe it's a first date. But you got to think in terms of the greatest gift you can give anybody is a gift of your time. And if you go on a picnic and you spend $15 and you have a good time together, she's there for you. She's not there for the picnic. You go to a nice restaurant, she's not there for the food. I mean, obviously she likes the food, but she's there to spend time with you. And so the important thing is that you do something that's fun, that makes her laugh, that makes her smile, something she's going to enjoy. And what I always suggest, especially if it's new in the beginning, you should start out like, if you guys are drinkers, a great place to go is to start out at a wine bar. Have a glass or two of wine and shoot the shit. And then go someplace where you maybe can have some appetizers or some dinner and enjoy good conversation. And then after that, you can go somewhere else that there's some kind of activity where you maybe throw axes at the round targets. You could play darts. You could play pool. You could go bowling. You could do miniature golf. You could go roller skating. You could go ice skating. Anything that creates a physical interaction, especially like ice skating or roller skating, is because what's going to happen? You guys are going to be, especially if neither one of you are very good, you're going to be laughing and goofing, and she's going to be hanging on you, and you're going to be hanging on each other, trying not to fall down and bust your asses. And it creates physical interactions. It breaks the touch barrier, especially when she starts, grabbing your arm if you're a better skater than she is. And so it facilitates the touching, and then the touching can escalate to kissing and heavy petting, and then, hey, let's get out here and go back to my place and have a glass of wine, or let's go sit in the jacuzzi and turn some music on and have a nightcap or whatever. And by that point, the other thing you got to think of is the logistics of sex. Wherever the last place is you're going to be should only be 10, 15 minutes away from your house. Because the other thing I've noticed, guys that are new to my work, they apply it, they go out on a first date, and then they're like somehow 45 minutes or an hour away from his place or hers, and they're all over each other, and they're not able to seal the deal, but just because of the distance. And so you got to think about those things. You're the man, you're the planner, and so you should think of those things ahead of time. But you shouldn't be looking at it and going, okay, I got $1,000, I'm going to blow this. You should be looking at it, what can I do with her that she'd really like? Maybe there's a favorite restaurant that she's always talked about, or maybe there's something she thought would be fun and she's always wanted to do it, and then surprise her with it. It doesn't matter how much you spend. It's, can you guys have a good time together and make her laugh? Because whatever you make her feel when she's with you is what she's going to associate with being with you. And that's the important thing. So, going to picnics, especially if it's somebody new, out by a lake when the weather's nice, that's a lot of fun. And you get to know each other well. Going to dinner, then you go by your office, you have sex in your office. It's all those things can be fun.
Was the question like
being together is what matters, and having a good time.
What would you create, Caroline?
Yeah, how would you want a guy to spend $1,000 on you? What's the best date you'd be like, holy shit, that's pretty awesome?
1,000 would be.
It has to be a special occasion.
Yes.
I don't spend $1,000 on a date unless going away for a trip or
like
whatever.
A birthday
and
dinner.
The gift shop, or if there's a store and there were clothing, it's like all that shit's going on the tab.
He must be seeing me as almost girlfriend material if he's doing that. But I would do maybe like a dinner on the beach, like not like an expensive dinner, but like a casual, nice little restaurant, and then go jet skiing. It's like, look.
So it'd be a daytime date.
Yeah, a daytime date. I like
do
daytime.
jet skiing first, because then you build up, go have like a little breakfast at home and then go jet skiing. So then by the time you get done jet skiing, you're hot, you got a nice tan going, you're hungry. So then you're like, yeah.
I don't know, because
But then you're kind of sweaty and smelly.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go. We would have to go home, get ready.
Well, you got a hotel room for the day. Like stay at one of the places on the beach that has the jet skiing with it. So you have the room.
Yeah. So maybe this guy is rich, or maybe it's an anniversary or a special thing. He's like, all right, my budget's $1,000.
Yeah.
So something like that, maybe you could do a bed and breakfast for like a weekend. You get a place for a couple $100 a night. I mean, it depends on where it is. There's places will be cheap bed and breakfast, and then there'll be other places that'll probably cost you $1,000 a night because
yeah.
it's just an expensive area. So it depends on where you live and what those things cost. But I know in Florida, there's sort of like St. Augustine is a great place. There's a lot of bed and breakfasts, and those, what's cool is you're going to be staying in a house that's like 150 years old or older sometimes. And so they have a lot of charm. They're really beautiful. And usually the couples that run those are really awesome. Plus, there's lots of restaurants and things close by. There's like Ripley's, believe it or not. There's the fort up there. So there's a lot of things to see and do. And something like that, you could do like a Friday and stay Friday night, Saturday night, and like leave Sunday. So you could, probably do 2 nights and do a few activities, maybe dinner or whatever, something like that could be fun. So you end up spending $500 for the room maybe for 2 nights, and then $500 to do whatever over day and a half, going to eat or going to see, because like going to the Ford or Ripley's, that stuff's cheap. It's like $10, $15, $20 or whatever it is for a ticket.
It's like 40.
Is it 40 now?
40 or 50.
What's the Ford?
The fort. There's the fort at St. Augustine. It was built by, I think, the Spaniards, right, John?
Oh, that's the first. Where the first was supposed to be like the.
Yeah, it's like the oldest
first settlement or something like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they built a big fort out of that coquina stone, because when they would get hit by the cannonballs, the coquina would, because it's just shells basically, would absorb the cannonball and nothing would really happen to it. And that fort never fell in battle. It got attacked many times, but they never lost. So those are cool things. So just Google something like that. So I assume if he wants to spend that, maybe it's a special occasion. So like even a bed and breakfast for a night if it's super expensive. If it's special occasion, or the guy's just wealthy and it's not a big deal. But for the average guy, he's not going to go below $1,000 on a date. And if it's an average dude and it's like a first date with a girl he's always wanted, don't blow $1,000, because then she's going to expect that
all the time.
Yeah. And then she's going to be disappointed that the best date she ever went on with you was the first one, and it's been downhill ever since. You got to manage the expectations.
I haven't had one of those in a while. Those ones are fun.
What about you? So yours is dinner and jet skis during the day?
Yeah. I don't really like the hotel idea, because she might not be comfortable to stay those nights with you until you're on that level of girlfriend.
Well, I don't know. He didn't really elaborate.
Yeah, I feel like if he's already trying to spend $1,000, maybe they've already been kind of talking. He's like, what can I do?
Or maybe they've been hooking up. Maybe it's, it's...
a helicopter date.
Well, Valentine's Day's coming up, so maybe it was that.
That'd be really nice.
Helicopters are cool.
That one's a good one. That's so good.
And then drinks after or something.
But depends on what those go for.
They're like $500
for one person or 2 people?
For 2 people.
Because the last time I did that I was in Hawaii, and that was several years ago. I don't remember what the hell it cost.
It's like $200 each.
So that's cool. I remember one time, speaking of first dates, I had more money than common sense, but we were like what was I? This was 97, so I was like 27 years old. And one of the guys I worked with, we're all doing well in real estate. Everything's booming. So we're making money hand over fist. And so we were in Orlando, obviously, and he wanted to take his girlfriend to St. Augustine. He's like, hey, let's charter a plane, fly to St. Augustine. There's a cool restaurant up there. We'll get a limo to pick us up at the airport, drive us to the restaurant. We'll eat the restaurant, and then we'll come back and hop on the plane and fly back. And so myself and a date I had, it was a first date. It was like a blind date. I was set up with her through my friend's girlfriend. And so she showed me pictures. I was like, oh, yeah, she's hot. We'll definitely go out. And so, that was a cool first date, and it definitely is a panty dropper when you do something like that. And so we flew from a small airport in Orlando, and it was only like 30-minute flight at the most, because it's not far away. It's like an hour and 10-minute car drive from Orlando to St. Augustine. And so we flew there, landed, took the limo, had this amazing restaurant. And because we had so much fun at the restaurant, I think we went somewhere else after that. And I guess it was overcast, so the weather wasn't really great to fly back that night. And I think it was like a Sky King, like a twin prop Sky King that we flew. So it was the pilot, he had his girlfriend, and it was myself and my 2 friends, and my one buddy, he had his wife. My other friend had his girlfriend and a girl that she had introduced me to. And We ended up getting a hotel there and stayed the night.
That's fun.
It was a good time. I don't remember what we spent. It was thousands of dollars. I
Yeah,
remember that.
wasn't that was like you went
Yeah,
over his
I
budget,
think it was probably
Corey.
like $3,000. But it was like one of those things like, hey, let's do this. It was like, come on, let's, I'd
A
never done
person,
anything
it was
like that.
$3,000.
I think it was thousands of dollars because it's myself. I'm buying it's paying for the girl, obviously the hotel, everything, food, and that was a cool trip.
I just thought of another one.
Okay.
Because I was looking at prices the other day just to go with my girlfriends. You can go on a 4-day cruise trip. It's $300 per person, and you get free food the whole ride there. You can get a drink package and drink and do cool activities on the boat.
What did you say? Cool titties?
Yeah.
Cool titties.
And go to the Bahamas for like 4 days and spend the whole the
I think that's
weekend.
a good idea if you've been dating that person for a while. But if you haven't and you kind of offer that, I mean, that's awesome. But if she's like not that into you and you're spending $1,000, she's probably gonna get annoyed with you after the end of the trip, and you're probably not.
Yeah,
because
then it becomes like the trip and the money, the expense becomes like a bribe for sex.
Intimidating.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, he dropped $1,000 on me. I hope he doesn't expect to sleep with me.
Right.
Yeah, and then she can't get away anywhere. You're just stuck in a room, and then it's like you got to sleep in the same bed because he wants it, and then you're kind of like, ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to tell. I don't really know the context of how well he knows this girl. But if that's a first date, I wouldn't be doing that. But, I mean, if he's a multimillionaire and it's like, I mean, you could drop $1,000 taking a girl to, to sushi in L.A. if easily.
Yeah.
A couple drinks and the bills. Was it that place in L.A.? Nobu.
Oh, I love Nobu.
I've been there before.
I went there in Bahamas. Place in Miami I like to go to, Villa Azul. I went there a couple times for my birthday, and the bill's always like $2,000 to $3,000 for like 4 people. But it's awesome there. They play like music. People are dancing on the tables. They're like throwing stuff around, napkins. Like they're going like this on the table. But like it is really expensive. But the food is so good. They have a lot of seafood, like seafood towers and stuff like that. And I love seafood, so that's usually racks up some money too. But that's a fun place. But that would be like, I think the cheapest we walked out of there with 2 people was $1,200.
Yeah, I'm just guessing if it must be a special occasion. That's why I'm thinking it might be somebody he's been dating for a while. But on a first date,
Hell
unless you're just
no.
super wealthy and it's like, that's nothing, that's peanuts to a wealthy person. But for the average guy, you shouldn't be
Don't
blowing
save your
$1,000 on a
pennies.
first date. No way.
For just that, and then that's all your money that you have.
But
Now
then
you have to
again,
live
I've
on
spent
ramen.
thousands on a first date, but that was a long time ago, and I was making a lot of money, and it was something I'd never done, and I wouldn't have cared one way or whether I had a date or not. It was just like, who does that?
It's a rookie move.
I think the helicopter idea is probably the best
Yeah,
idea
that'd be
for like a
nice.
first date, and it's romantic. It's very cute, and I think it's like you guys she's looking over, leaning over your shoulder, vice versa, or something like that. So you're
Nice
kind of close.
thrill.
Yeah, nice close encounter. Or maybe she's kind of nervous to be in the helicopter. Maybe she's afraid of heights. So she's like clutching onto your shoulder, like, oh, I'm scared, hold me.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings you together closer. So I think that was a really great idea.
Yeah.
And if it goes bad, you can push her out.
Just tilt the helicopter.
Yeah, right? I
Whoops.
put all the weight on one
Got to do
side.
your seatbelt.
Oh, you could a helicopter to a nice restaurant place.
The
and then
little
go down.
island. The little island.
Or like can you land on a helicopter on an island without a helipad?
Yeah. When I was in Hawaii, we landed on like the side of a mountain, and he had a picnic basket and everything, and I was hanging out there with my best friend, and so we were hanging out, drinking some drinks, looking over the Hawaii because we were like high up. It was cool up there. I mean, the weather was cool, even though it was middle of the summer. It was just fucking beautiful. And the guy that was our pilot, he was a Huey pilot in Vietnam. And so that was pretty cool because he was telling us war stories and stuff like that. He knew how to fly that thing pretty well. We were flying around. There was waterfall. It was incredible.
That is cool.
Doing a helicopter tour in Hawaii is amazing because the islands are incredible.